Shavua Tov. Good evening, and hope everyone had a great Shabbat. Today, this evening, uh, we talk about a few different things, but first and foremost, I want to talk about blood libels. So, what is a blood libel? Historically, we know that a blood libel is essentially when they make up some type of lie and accuse the Jews of some type of killing or murder or something like that. This historically has been the impetus for pogroms um, and violence against Jews in general. Why does this matter right now? Because everyone is saying that Israel is starving Gaza. In our little echo chamber of Zionists, we know that Israel is not starving Gaza. We've seen the footage that the aid is all stacked up there, that the UN is not distributing it because they claim to be afraid of Hamas, even though they weren't too afraid to go in there and document damage done by the Israelis to the infrastructure there. But they're afraid to distribute food. Essentially creating this narrative that the Jews will starve you if you stand in their way. So obviously, um, we know this isn't true, but how do we deal with that, right? Too many people are posting things on the internet to an echo chamber of other Jewish Zionists. And it doesn't really matter because what you do is you look like you're turning out your pockets, but you're not even turning out your pockets to the people who are accusing us. You're turning out your pockets for them in front of our own people and not even making any impact on the non-Zionist world whatsoever. We're over here trying to avoid them making new gas chambers, and we decided to gas each other up in an echo chamber instead. The real problem is that this is blood libel, and no matter how much you attempt to explain the reasoning and show the fruit, look, it's all the Hamas, you have to blame them. They're not going to blame Hamas. They love Hamas. That's like you saying, your mama, and then expect them to say, yeah, you're right, my mama is a hoe. Like, they're not going to fucking agree with you, all right? No matter how much truth you present, Zionists always lie to them. But we need to look back in history to the Ukraine, to another thing in history that was another famous blood libel that people have kind of forgotten, except for people who hate Jews. Most Jews have forgotten about this, but it's called the Holodomor, Holodomor. Sounds like Holocaust a little bit, right? But what this was communists, not Jews, some of whom might have been Jews, but that's not the point. It wasn't an organized Jewish effort. This was a communist governmental decision. Caused essentially what they refer to as a man-made famine. Where does that sound familiar? They're saying that there's a man-made famine in Gaza. Now, in the case of the Holodomor, at least what the records indicate is that the government essentially did cause a man-made famine, but it was the government, not the Jews. So again, just like Gaza, it's their government, Hamas, not the Jews, causing any lack of food that happens. And of course, the people who are connected, who have friends in Hamas or who had friends in the communists, were fine, right? If they're in a good position to begin with, they were in a good position there. But people at the bottom end of the social scale, they felt it the most, of course, as usual. And this historically got blamed on the Jews for the Holodomor, and now they're saying that that's what's happening in Gaza, Holodomor 2.0, basically. And too many Jews have forgotten this blood libel. And so we're out there trying to show numbers and pie charts. It doesn't matter. They don't care. The purpose of them saying this is not to end some famine that they believe is happening. It's to perpetuate, it's to facilitate physical, real world violence against Jews. That is what they're trying to do. They're not trying to save starving babies. They know there are no starving babies, and if there are, it's their fault. They know this. You can't inform them of this, and the useful idiots that don't know this, they will not be convinced in front of their friends by a Zionist. Now, in front of their friends means on their social media page. They're not going to argue back and forth and say, well, you know, like, you're right. You're right. I've been wrong this whole time. Palestine is a myth, a farce, a terrorist colonial project. You know, they're not going to admit to that until they have some real personal self-searching. And all of that information is already out there for them. We do not need to do all of this pocket turning out. That's not Hasbara. That's not Jewish advocacy. It's faggotry. It's really what it is. It's sitting around going, well, yes, I know you believe we're terrible. Let me prove to you that we're not. No, you think Jews are terrible? Fuck you from the get-go. Fuck you in, out, goodbye. Don't let the door hit you in the ass. Get the fuck out of here. I don't care that you have some moral reasoning that you preface before why you have a problem with the Jews. If it never clicked in your head that having a problem with the Jews might be a fucking issue, that you're a little bit leaning toward the Nazis, if it never clicked in your head up until this point, it's not going to. Unless you get bashed in the head and you have some sort of near-death experience and God communicates directly with you, okay? Because you are canceling out all of this available information. So why do we want to try and communicate with these people who are already canceling out a myriad of available information sources? And we think that, oh, well, you know, if I just post it on my Instagram, if I just post it on my Facebook, you know, every fucking post that begins with Dear Anti-Zionist, they're not reading it. And if they are, they're laughing. So take it down. You look like a fool. Nobody gives a fuck. All right? You need to be building up our Jewish people, talking about Jewish observance, doing what we do here, but, you know, on your higher scale with your bigger influence and all your thousands of followers that you paid for some creative service to find you. Well, what are you doing with it? Fear porn? Just to scare people and say, oh, everybody hates us. Dear anti-Zionists, you're using Jewish products. It's not a roast. It's not a burn. They don't give a damn. You tell them they're using Jewish products. Who cares? They're just going to say that, see how Zionists dominate the market? And they'll tell you that some imaginary fake Palestinian that they made up that made the first internet, but they didn't want to have it because he was a Palestinian. They'll just make up a lie. They do not care. They know that people in the West who are willing to fucking come to these people are going to believe whatever they say. They will literally show you a video of a toy baby doll, obvious baby dolls, and expect these people to cry. And we're like, that's a fucking baby doll. They're like, yeah, we know, but these idiots don't. Fuck you. Look at all these idiots we got to support us because they're idiots and they know that these people are idiots, and that's why they don't try that hard to fool them. Meanwhile, we're trying so hard to fucking convince them to not be idiots. Stop. Pause. Collect your thoughts and think about it. What the fuck are you doing? So on that note, let me go in a little segue on the what the fuck are you doing? And we're going to look at a little video here, okay? And now, you guys can tell me what you think about this in the comments if you want, but obviously, I'm going to tell you. ERMHNS. Now, there's also photographs of the guy. So it's not particularly zoomed. It might be zoomed in a little bit, but they're pretty close to this individual. Why? Okay. That's what it says. Arm Hamas means kill Jews. Okay. Kill Jews and friends of Jews. And this guy somehow is allowed to just keep going, and then they post it on the internet. Posted, and I won't say which group posted it, but I'm sure you can imagine. Dead Rabbits group posted this, and of course I couldn't help but comment as why is he being allowed to keep walking? Why is he? And some people have it in their head that that by posting this, number one, they'll somehow identify the guy, which is needle in a haystack, New York City. You were right there. You didn't have to identify him, find his address or anything. You knew his location right at that moment. But we'll put it on the internet and wait weeks to try and, possibly days, weeks to find who he is. And then, oh, well, he'll lose his job. Someone actually told me this, that the job loss will last longer than a black eye that would heal, referring to my indication that he should be beaten up. First off, when I say that this guy is talking about kill the Jews, he should be beaten up, I'm not talking about a black eye. Okay. I know we're on some semi-censored platforms here, but I think you can imagine that a black eye is not the solution. Do you have to stand in hospital for a black eye? Do you pass out and stop doing what you're doing from a black eye? No. Okay, I wasn't talking about a fucking black eye. Next, the obvious indication is that you're not going to necessarily for sure find out who the guy is, but even if you did, why is there this assumption, number one, that he would lose his job, and number two, that that's somehow going to last? Like, a person it's New York City, you can just go get another job. And most likely, an individual putting up this type of stuff, because first of all, that's hooligan stuff. The symbol, where it says the fuck Hamas, where it kind of looks like Run DMC, that It was not from, some people after October 7th all of a sudden came up with this thing. No, okay. What happened was that Jews all of a sudden all over the world got thrust in the middle of this existing fight of the West versus the Islamists, which a lot of Jews, unfortunately, have been ignorant to. But the idea that someone that would put up Arm Hamas stickers boldly in the daytime is going to lose his job is very presumptuous. Did you read that? Maybe we'll play it again soon. POV. Someone emailed your job about quote unquote anti-Semitic comments. But this is literally where this is indicating that her employer has literally no concern about so-called anti-Semitic comments. Wow. So, and this is on the business, that video that I just showed you, the girl saying that is on the business's page themselves. It's called Soul Spa or something like that. So you're going to tell me that a business that's comfortable posting a post mocking anti-Semitic comments being reported is going to fire the person? You think that? What if that guy works there? What if he works at the Soul Spa? The guy with the You're not going to do anything by assuming that everyone is on our side. They're not. Get fucking real. We don't need the liberal Gentile world's help. Okay? Stop saying we're going to turn to whoever this person works for and they'll surely be on our side. They're not on your side. The presumption that they are is deadly. Okay? Potentially deadly. It's very dangerous to assume. This is like Nazi Germany, guys. All right? It's not to the point where the government is fully on their side, but if the next election, there's no chance for Trump to run again. So unless we get one of these cornball mini MAGA people that's like a protege of Trump, which is not very likely because none of them are shining stars in the party rising up or anything like that. We're going to get another Democrat like Joe Biden, okay, who is against Israel. The entire Democratic Party is anti-Zionist at this point, okay? And you're going to have some very harsh realities to deal with. We need to do whatever we can during this period, this little bit of leeway that we have during Trump, even though he doesn't even understand the cost, okay? But take this little bit of leeway and establish beachheads against this, okay? Because it's they are in the government, they are in all sorts of, they're about to be in the mayor's office in New York City, all right? But they are in every little crevice. You know how the Islamists, they say, oh, hey, there's a Jew hiding behind me. The tree will say to me, right? Okay. The tree will speak to you. First of all, that's a pagan thing, right? But if the tree will speak to him and he believes that there's a Jew behind it, that means he has to like get rid of all the trees, right? Well, our problem is that these Islamists, they're hiding behind things that are not removable like a tree. They're hiding just in groups of people. What, are you just going to remove the entire government? I mean, sounds spicy, but realistically, no. You can't remove the entire government for the purpose of getting rid of some bad Islamist people. So what do you have to do? You have to establish legal precedents because you can't count on people. Okay, you cannot count it. Put not your faith or trust in me. Right? Doesn't it say that in the Psalms? Put not your trust in man. So if we're not to trust in man, then we need to trust in Hashem, and Hashem has provided us with some simple tools, okay, to protect ourselves. Obviously, prepare yourself physically and mentally for to have to actually fight, like physically, not just we're going to go down to the city hall and hope that our vote goes. No, I'm talking about having to actually fight in the streets. Study Krav Maga because it was designed for fighting Nazis. Okay, it was designed to fight Nazis in the street. It was not designed, just for the IDF to be cool guys or something. It was designed for even old ladies to be able to fight off a Nazi attacker and escape. Now, escape is an important part, but when I say be ready to fight, it's no longer just when people swing at you. Sometimes people are doing things that you have to stop them from doing. And you might have to get physical in order to stop them from doing things. Now, this doesn't mean, oh, you're going to chase down every idiot that's got a pro-Palestine thing anywhere. But the stuff that's really violent, dangerous, like the guy with the armed Hamas, there's no way that he's not, at the very least, getting confronted. I understand you have a duty to retreat. You got to take 2 steps backwards in the state of New York City, and other in that area. Okay, legally, take 2 steps back, and then whatever, deal with what you have to deal with, because that guy is putting up kill Jews stickers. Back in the day when there were, neo-Nazi skinheads around, the real skinheads, the traditional, non-racist kind, we would destroy these boneheads for much less than this. They would just put up a sticker of a band that had a racist song, and they would get beat up. They were not both these. I'm talking neo-Nazi skinheads. Were not, for the most part, were not bold enough to put up something that would basically say "kill Jews" or "arm Hitler." You know what I'm saying? Like, they would not be able to put that shit up. So why now, when Jews are actually paying attention to it, like I wish they would have been paying attention to the boneheads in the 90s, why, when Jews are actually paying attention now, is this guy walking scot-free? This guy needs to be in a hospital, not in a video. What kind of games are we playing here, folks? I understand that, yeah, everybody is not ready to get in a fight. Well, you should be. Get ready. Oh, the person filming it might have been smaller than that guy. Well, at least confront him. At least fucking confront him and take, get the fucking stickers from him. You could do something more than just film him. You let him get away, all right? And I don't want to see more and more of this becoming a trend. Like, oh yeah, let's just film the guys and we'll post it. What is that going to do? Confront the person right there. Say something to them. Even if you're not ready to punch them out, if it's not at that level, at least say something to them. Don't just, maybe in 2 weeks we'll know who you are. This is not, no. Life comes at you fast. That guy could be a shooter in less than a week. Did we forget that the guy who was the DC shooter, and there's so many shooters now, Minneapolis shooter, and we'll get to him in a moment. But the DC shooter was a regular socialist activist. He was a pro-Palestine guy. He was from the Party for Socialism and Liberation. He looked just like that guy. He didn't look like all wrapped up with, 37 keffiyehs and a Hezbollah headband or something. No, he looked just like that guy. T-shirt, shitty little undergrown hairy face, close beard. Same haircut, actually. And we're going, well, I was going to say Armas. Let's let him walk. No, stop him. He's a problem. He's a fucking problem. Now onto I guess that's a good segue into the other shooter in Minneapolis. Of course, we have all the libtards jumping to, it was the guns. Why do you have access to guns? We called her she. Why did she have access to guns? I expected all of the weenies on the Democrat and left-wing side, liberals, to be like that. I expected that. I expected them to be all using the pronouns, talking about the guns, and yada, yada, yada. What I did not expect, but I guess I should have, what I did not expect is not one, but multiple Zionist profiles posting about transgender rights and transgender resources access and shit after this motherfucker has just, with Nazi slogans written right on the gun, gone and killed American children. Well, are you out of your fucking minds? This man was a murderer. Man was a murderer. Whether they identified as this and that, and if they had better trans resources. No. First of all, the mother should not have their child trying to change their gender, first of all. Okay. And then secondly, people who do feel weird about gender and all that kind of stuff, it's not a fucking excuse to murder anybody. I don't care how upset you were about I couldn't get this or I couldn't get that. What fucking society are we living in where we make excuses for murderers based on, well, they didn't have enough resources? Okay. All right. Didn't have enough resources. And that's an excuse. So then why do you guys make fun of white trash redneck people? They don't have enough resources. Most of them are not going out psychotically shooting up places with children, especially. But it's okay for them to be the butt of the jokes. Oh, they don't got no teeth. Oh, they're like American flags and they love Trump, but they're on welfare. Ha ha ha. That's acceptable. That's funny. It's okay to make fun of certain groups without resources, except for the ones who go and kill people. They're the ones that we need to be. Oh well, we need to be sensitive to their fucking feelings. Fuck your feelings. You're a murderer. Speaking of murderers, speaking of actually the DC shooter that I mentioned a moment ago, did we know that the reform movement leaders came out and tried to fight against him, against Elias receiving the death penalty? Said some bullshit about it goes against Jewish values. What fucking Jewish values are you talking about? In the Torah, that's definitely a death penalty offense there. Okay? What version of Judaism says you can kill people and then some gay rabbi is going to write a fucking letter and then it's okay? What? No, you killed somebody. You have to pay for that. Okay? All of these people should have a death penalty. If you kill in cold blood like that, like not in self-defense, if you go and kill somebody, that's what it is. You purposely murder somebody. I'm not talking about give the death penalty to everybody that accidentally kills somebody in a bar fight. I'm talking about premeditated murders here. Okay, these are things where people planned out and targeted people. That one targeted Jews and Israelis, and the other one targeted children. They're fucking sickos, and they should not be having any mercy from anyone. No fucking sympathy, no feelings of understanding, nothing. None of that ever. No. No, no, no. And if you see someone putting up things that says arm Hamas, kill the Zionists, kill the Jews, anything like that, stop them. Stop them. I mean, do not let them continue. How is I couldn't believe people were actually arguing with me on this. And that's the problem. People have it in their mind that somebody else is coming to help. Nobody's coming to help. People will come after the fact when you're already dead and no longer need help to support you and give thoughts and prayers to your survivors and all this shit, but nobody's coming. We have to help ourselves. We have to protect ourselves. There is no government, no agency, no group of people, none of that. All right? There is us and Hashem. And if you're not right with him, expect the worst. Now, if you're right with Hashem, then you can probably expect the best. But you cannot expect that people who are not Jewish are going to come and save the Jews. There will be a handful of rarities, and that's why we know the names of the people, the Corey Ten Booms and all, these people. We know the names of these people who helped Jews because they stood out. They were different. They were the minority, a tiny, tiny minority. People generally are conformists and will follow the herd even off the cliff of holocausts. Okay? Be ready to fight, to shoot, to do whatever you have to do to protect yourself. Okay? And don't be a fool. You're not going to be able to talk them out of it. These brainwashed people, they just went to a conference this week to watch actual Jew-hating terrorists speak in Detroit. Actual Hamas guys, then listen to them speak. After this weekend, all these people coming back from it, you think they're going to be less or more radicalized? You think they're going to be less or more ready to do violence? They're going to be more ready to do violence against Jews and Zionists. The violence is escalating and quickly. Be ready. Be ready. Do not let these people make you think some bullshit. But we need to organize a counter protest and all this shit. We're past that point. We're past that point. We tried the political solutions with these people. We tried, and some of us, like when I was in Peoria, we were successful in fighting their anti-Israel resolutions and things like that. A lot of other places were not successful. Okay, and they let it get through. So it is what it is at this point. You must be ready to protect your family, stock up on your ammo, guns, other type of weapons, food, all that stuff, because you never know what might happen. Might become a state of emergency. I mean, and yeah, so what? You like Trump? He's a great president. Yeah, well, remember the George Floyd riots happened under Trump too. What happened during those riots? BLM guys from LA smashed up a synagogue. It's not always going to be comfortable just because you like the guy who's in office. All right, he's not everywhere. Trump isn't on your block stopping. I mean, obviously, in some places the National Guard is there now, and that'll help a little bit, maybe. But you still have to look out for yourself and your family. Okay, I cannot stress this enough to be prepared. Also, as an aside, there is a supposedly an interstellar object that is between 1 and 7 miles long, approaching towards the Earth. It's supposed to be here this week, next couple of days. So, if that's crashes into the Earth or something and changes everything, then you'd be happy that I told you to be prepared, regardless if it was Palestine, Nazis, or a weird comet or something. So I laugh because most of these scientific announcements tend to be bullshit, but we'll see. But in any case, the message is be prepared. More than a Boy Scout, more like an Army guy. So that's all. Good night.